Hello everyone, my name is Ed to the B, and welcome back to Let's Talk. Today we are going to be talking about the first season of Star Wars: The Clone Wars to continue this series of watching all the different Star Wars films, TV shows that are canon in order. If you haven't checked out the previous ones, I've started all the way back at The Phantom Menace, and I've watched many different things all the way up till here. So if you want to, go watch those and make sure you stick around, where I'll be discussing not only the rest of the Clone Wars in the future, but also other Star Wars movies and TV shows. But nonetheless, let's get straight into it. The Clone Wars takes an episodic approach to its storytelling, having each episode stand as its own rather than having long story arcs throughout the first season. Most stories, though, are told as 2 or even 3-parters, with some single-episode adventures in between. Much like in Clone Wars 2003, The Clone Wars shows different battles occurring across the galaxy during the Clone Wars, often led by different Jedi such as Anakin Skywalker, Ahsoka Tano, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Master Yoda, or Mace Windu, with the clone army fighting alongside them. Some conflicts shown within the show are Yoda and 3 clone troopers facing off against the Sith apprentice Asajj Ventress, Anakin and Ahsoka taking on General Grievous and his latest weapon, the Malevolence. We also see a search for R2-D2 after he goes missing, as he holds Jedi military secrets, and a group of bounty hunters seize control of the Senate building, just to name a few different stories. Throughout the series, though, we also get to see Count Dooku with his apprentice, as I've mentioned, Asajj Ventress, General Grievous and his droid army helping the Separatists, and we also get to see Palpatine as his power grows stronger as both a senator and a Sith Lord. The audience also gets to finally see the clone army in full swing, and we also get to see how they are presented as their own individual characters and not just as mere clones of the same man. Finally, through this first season of the Clone Wars, the audience is properly introduced to Ahsoka Tano, and we begin to understand what type of person she is, and we begin to learn more about her character. So, what did I think of it? I enjoyed it more than I expected. I knew that the Clone Wars was one of the most, if not the most, praised canon Star Wars show, but I didn't expect it to be good. I know that a lot of critiques is that it's a kids show. I know it does get better as it goes along, which is good to hear, because it is kind of obvious when it begins that it is more targeted towards kids, and it can be a bit slow at times, but overall I really enjoyed the show. I would definitely watch it again. I would definitely recommend it. But it does definitely start a bit slow, and you can kind of tell it is a kid's show. But for all those who are watching who have seen it, I have heard it gets better, and that the first few seasons aren't the greatest. So that's just my opinion on the first season. I'm sure it'll get better, and I'm sure I will enjoy it more. Each storyline told throughout the first season, it felt quite connected to the Star Wars universe, and it expanded upon it. It introduced more species and characters and many different more aspects to the Star Wars canon that aren't really shown throughout the movies. So I really enjoyed how it feels very grounded in the Star Wars universe and how interconnected it does feel. And it also advances the story in its own right. Although it is just a bunch of disconnected battles within the Clone Wars, each one definitely advances the plot and the story of the Clone Wars. Something else that I really enjoyed about the show is it quite commonly brought up different ethical issues and moral questions about war, mostly because obviously it's the Clone Wars. But each different storyline and each different battle throughout the season, it had its own moral implications and its own ethical questions, and it was quite thought-provoking at times to think about life and death and battle and war and who really wins. And I think that's why I enjoyed it as much as I did, because although I think it definitely started off as a kid's show and it was a bit slow, having that more mature connection to it that I feel isn't quite brought up as well in any of the movies, to my knowledge. It was really nice to watch and to think and reflect, and it just made the fun of the show feel a little bit more like it had weight to it, and it wasn't just kind of, oh, let's go kill some droids. It was a bit more mature. It had layers to it, which I enjoyed. And speaking of layers, the characters, mwah, mwah, each and every character felt so real and so 3D and in depth. It was kind of amazing. Um, a lot of obviously a good show needs complex characters, but throughout the means of the storytelling throughout the Clone Wars, it did a great job of highlighting each individual character, like I said before, with the clones having their own personalities, and each character felt real and authentic, and I felt like they had layers which kind of all intertwined within those moral questions presented throughout the show. Which is another reason why I think I enjoyed it so much. The art style was dated. Like I said, I know it gets better. Um, it still looked good. I definitely enjoyed the kind of style of the 3D animation, and if that just improves, I'm excited to watch that progress. But it definitely felt dated, but not so dated it was unbearable to watch or looked really bad. It was just, you can kind of tell this was made in like 2008. After all that I've said, though, I highly enjoyed the first season. It did kind of drag along a little bit, which I kind of mentioned at the beginning. But overall, on the whole, with everything I've kind of talked about in my review, I genuinely enjoyed the show, and I'm excited to jump headfirst into season 2. I would definitely recommend giving it a watch if you haven't seen it yet. Honestly, I think I'd recommend a lot of Star Wars things I've seen so far, if I haven't said so. And that's all I've got to say about my review. It was good. I'd recommend giving it a watch. Thank you for watching. I've kind of been formatting Let's Talk a bit differently. I know I talked about it before, but my Queen one was kind of like a bit of a pilot to understand Let's Talks a bit better. But the way I've been editing them has been quite dull. And I don't think it's fun to watch either. So I wanted to, now that especially I've put my face into it, because all of those ones were all recorded with just audio, I'm hoping I can make it a bit more enjoyable for you to watch and enjoyable for me to edit. So if you want to give me some feedback on the Let's Talk series, I would be more than happy to give it a read, and maybe apply it to my videos, because at the end of the day, I'm still learning, and this is all just for a bit of fun. So thanks for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure you check out my other stuff. I've done other Let's Talks. I'll be doing more in the future. All currently on Star Wars, but I've got some other shows and movies planned. I've played multiple games, so check those out. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a like, and if you enjoy my channel, please subscribe. It really helps, and it really motivates me, to be fair, and it helps. It does help the channel. But thank you for watching. Have a good day. I've been Zed to the Beat, and we'll talk soon.